Welcome to Keeping Up with Our Community, a podcast for and about Romeo Community Schools. Each week, we will invite different guests to share insights about some unique aspects of our schools. This podcast is powered by the MIT TV of Romeo, Michigan. If you're looking to start a podcast for your business or personal use, look no further than MIT TV. Their in-studio podcast experience allows you to record perfect audio and capture amazing video. That's all right here at the MIT TV of Romeo, Michigan. Contact them now via email for a free consultation and schedule a visit at mit.tvpodcast@gmail.com. That's mitt.tvpodcast@gmail.com. Hello, my name is Marianne Brush, Communications and Marketing Supervisor for Romeo Community Schools, and this is episode 50 of our Keeping Up with Our Community Schools podcast. In addition to marking this milestone, we are also celebrating CTE Month. While February is the official month that schools around the country recognize the importance of career and technical education, at Romeo Community Schools, we celebrate the accomplishments and contributions of our CTE programs all year round. With us today to help us share with our listeners what our CTE programs mean to our students, staff, and business partners are Eva Dawson, Career and Technical Education Director and Work-Based Learning Coordinator, and two business partners, Greg Windingland, Special Projects Manager for Lombardo Homes, and Sam Privity, Supervisor for Charter Township of Washington. I will now turn it over to our host, Mrs. Jennifer McFarland, Assistant Superintendent of Academic Services, to lead the discussion.
Well, thank you, Marianne. I'm pleased to introduce our guests here today who are heavily involved in our academies at Romeo High School. So we have Greg and Sam, and Eva Dawson is also joining us. So I know Marianne introduced kind of your name earlier, but tell us a little bit about your role in the community, Sam, and kind of what got you motivated to get involved with our programs at the high school.
I'm Sam Privity. I'm the Washington Township Supervisor. Actually, when I was in high school, I started out actually in the architectural program, and that was my senior course, was to design a log cabin for the school secretary at the high school where I went to, and I thought that was a great experience. This log cabin actually got built, and anyway, years later, obviously I took the accounting finance pathway. I became a financial controller, and now in politics. But when I stepped into this role, I heard about the different pathways at the Romeo High School, and that's when I approached Dawson about possibly designing. We had a lot of these green spaces in the township to make them into actual park spaces, and they actually won an award on the one, and since then I've actually given a lot more items that we like to work on. So I feel like it's a winning thing. The students get real life coursework they can see once it gets implemented to actually.
So they learn about it, they learn how to do it, but you're actually helping support them to bring it to life.
Exactly.
Yeah. And how cool that you had that experience in high school.
Oh,
Is the log cabin still standing?
Yeah,
yes. Well built. Well built. Way to go. So Greg, talk to us a little bit about your role within the community and just what got you motivated to do some of the work you're doing, because it's a lot, just like Sam.
Okay, thank you. I'm Greg from Lombardo Homes. Thank you for allowing me to be with you guys today. I've been with Lombardo for a little over 22 years, and one of the things the last few years that we've been looking at is community give back. And so this was an opportunity. Special Projects Manager is my title, so it kind of fell in that. I really enjoy interacting with kids and passing along knowledge. I've had 3 very good mentors in my career. So now at this point in my career, I'd like to give some of that back. Also for a little bit of selfish reasons, the home building industry, going back to the recession, lost so many of their skilled tradespeople that never returned to Michigan. So there's a huge shortage in the home building industry. So not only are we giving back to the community, but we're also trying to help supplement the workforce in the community by encouraging kids to look at home building as a career path.
Yeah, and I guess we don't think about that, right? So the idea of mentoring and kind of giving back to the community, but also building that workforce and at least interest and getting kids to understand they can live a pretty solid life working in either of, you know, kind of the careers that both of you are in. So can you talk about some of the kids and doing, you know, some of the projects and things? I know that some of you have actually hired some work-based learning students and had job shadows. Greg, can you talk a little bit about some of those direct student connections with yourself or within the organization of Lombardo Homes?
Certainly. We've used work-based learning students. Last year we had Rocco and we had Allison. Allison actually became a full-time employee with us. She worked out so well. Eva has sent me many great candidates for summer interns. Last year, Reese worked out great. Before that, we had Natalie and several other people. So that's worked out great.
That's amazing. Yeah, well done. Sam, I know that you've had some experiences and some, you know, things that you've shared in the past. So share with our public.
Yeah, so we introduced a program 2 years ago. We started with interns. We had one Naomi that worked on the clerk side that did elections and finance and accounting on that side. And then I had Bella, who she worked on my side of the building. She helped my department as well as building and DPW, and got a little flavor of that side of the building. Since then, both Bella and Naomi actually stayed on for employment until Naomi just left recently. She's finishing up her college degree and more in the law path. Bella's still working with me. She's helping a lot with the planning and zoning part of it, some building, and obviously my role is so diverse. Every day I walk in, there's a million things.
Right? Fires to put out.
Yeah, we've continued the program. We've hired Emily, who last year was an intern. Now she's staying in our assessing department. And it's actually worked out good. She's actually been able to translate for Hispanic
nice.
members, so that's worked out really good.
Yeah.
And just recently, our latest intern, her name is Claudia. She's working in the Treasury Department, and she's helping with that. So we have those four. That's at the township level. In the summer, we actually get part-time to help in the DPW on the outside part of it. And then we have a Channel 6, WBRW. They hire interns as well to help film all the high school events. And then our fire and EMS, they also work with that area at the high school with Health and Human Services.
Our EMT, Sarah Pyle, right?
Yeah.
Ride-alongs and all those interesting things. So
we got a little flavor of everything.
Yeah, you have a lot of opportunities that I don't think, at least myself, think about that we could have kids experience within the government.
We always point out assessing. It's not a career many know about, but it's actually a very in high demand. Not many people go into that pathway of assessing, and it's very little education. I shouldn't say it like that.
Additional schooling needed.
Additional schooling needed, but there is testing involved to get to several levels. But once you hit that level 4, it's very well needed in several communities. And our very first intern actually, she left our community to go to another community because there's basically a salary war to get these people.
High needs, so high demand.
You don't realize how our current assessors keeps talking about retiring, and I don't like that idea just because they're so hard to replace.
Right. So I think that's something else that we discover by working with our partners are really some fields that maybe we can't offer as a pathway, but an experience might motivate a student to be interested in something and then further their education in some other way that we can't, or on the job
and
education.
Also jumping in on that, also working with our partners, finding that there's other needs that our partners might have that maybe we can help with. So we were talking about an idea through architecture, the need that of maybe a little bit more direct architecture students working with the township.
Yeah, we talked about especially the museum, right? Eva was sharing some of her ideas and things with that. So what giving back, it seems like both of you had mentioned, was something important to you to give back, to students and things. You talked about some of the experiences. So what what kind of skills do you think students need to be most successful, in some of your roles and jobs that you may have, because it's a plethora of different ones. So Greg, if you'd want to go first.
The biggest thing we see is kids need to have the soft skills, the communication skills, the ability to do problem solving and reasoning. It seems like we've told kids for generations that we're not going to tell you no, everything you did is perfect, you're the best kid and all that. And then when reality hits, and whether it's critiquing a paper they've done or anything, it's just devastating to them. So the ability to be able to get constructive feedback and respond to it without just collapsing.
Yeah.
That's something that's huge. The kids on whether it's social media or whatever, obviously they're so skilled on their handheld device, but when it goes to sitting in a group of people where they have to make eye contact and where they have to collaborate and be a team and things like that, that's huge. We always tell any candidates, we're not trying to reconnect an artery, right? There's different skills for that. We're trying to build a house. There's a lot of tolerances. We can teach you the nuts and bolts of what we need you to do. We need you to come in with the right attitude, with the right mindset, with those soft skills, right, that we can then mold to what we would like.
Yeah, and I think we took some feedback from our partners when we first created our profile of a graduate. We didn't know what we didn't know, and so it really wasn't a working, kind of profile in theory. And so we took feedback from our partners and said, okay, tell us really what it is. And so now we have perseverance, we have professionalism, right? We have communication and collaboration, because those skills are so important. And I think hopefully we're seeing some more of our kids be able to, work through the hard stuff. And let's do it now when there's a safety net within our high school and with our teachers and things supporting that. But Sam, do you see any other kind of skills that you would encourage our students to strengthen?
Basically to piggyback on what Greg said, but communication is really huge, especially at the township hall. People don't come in to say hi to us. They usually have a concern or an issue. And a few years ago, we transitioned from one garbage waste hauler to another. Mm-hmm. That was, it upset everyone. Nobody liked change, even though it was a price decrease. I actually had our intern, she was actually handling some of the phone calls and the responses. We had the water break a couple years ago. We had to pass out water. So, you just a lot of multitasking on the feet, kind of, and communication's key. A lot of people come in upset. They come to see me upset. They leave actually laughing or happy. But a lot of times people just want to be heard, and and that someone's listening to them and trying to work on the solution. So it's a lot of times. Again, I can't answer all the questions 100%, but at least I get back to them, and we'll try to either find a solution or work together.
Right. And I think those are keys, right? A lot of times people just want to be heard.
Yeah, it's again. I use the multitasking a lot because it's late at night. I'm getting emailed, and I answer right away, because if I wait till the next day, it just gets drowned in the emails.
Right.
It's very
well, and people reach out and they don't want to wait either, for very long. But
it's not a 8 to 5.
It's a balance, right? Yeah.
Well, and some people on the different social medias, I'll get contacted through Facebook, Instagram, even TikTok. So,
wow.
And I'm trying to respond. I'm like, please send it all to my email to make it easier. But again, the interns we have and the ones that have stayed on, they've really become great at communicating with the residents. The latest one, Claudia, she actually works the tax counter, so not everyone's excited to pay their taxes. Yeah, exactly. So,
yeah. Well, and I think social media too is a new phenomenon, right? Yeah. Of people communicating through social media versus pick up a phone or send me an email. So I think some of our kids are really good at that, but as Greg mentioned, they're not necessarily good at the face to face, right? So it's that balance, and so being able to have students within your organizations, practice that, and it's good to hear that some of them are rocking it out and doing a great job in there. So we have other business partners. Your organizations are both on our wall, and you give a lot of your time, and whether it be in school or out of school. What advice, if we have some partners that are thinking about taking, students for internships, or I know, Greg, you've been in our classroom, Sam, you're in our classrooms. What advice would you give a partner who may be on the fence about whether or not to go all in as a partner with our high school? Greg, do you want to go first?
Sure. I guess the biggest thing I would say is make the commitment. In business, we're all busy. Everybody's busy. And I find that it's an excuse that people rely on to not do things. It's such a great investment, and it's worth your time. It's so rewarding to engage with these kids, whether it's sitting in a classroom. I saw you last week. I was in Megan's classroom, and that was a great experience. Just seeing the kids and helping them and knowing that maybe you're playing a part in their future. Yeah. And maybe someday they'll then in turn, give back for whatever their ability is.
Yeah, and it's building, we call it like building social capital, I think, yep, with our kids, right? They see their parents, they see their teachers every day, but seeing people from industry and business and government and showing that they care about their success, I think really, hopefully will, spark some interest in kids. So Sam, any other advice if people are thinking about, helping support our academies?
Yeah, no, I think it's a great forum. It gives the students, again, a chance to flavor the industry that they're interested in, expand on it. Again, last week I was speaking to Mr. Bussenell's class about the sewer break that just happened recently, and we were really, communication was the big thing. I was sending out e-newsletters. We have a Nexel service, which alerts all the residents, and I was keeping the residents up to date every couple hours, and even through social media, of course, too. Yeah. And so anyway, we were really stressing the importance of communicating with the residents and letting them know. And sorry.
Yeah.
Just wanted to add one other thing for any businesses that are considering becoming a partner. You guys, and kudos to you, you don't come to us and say, hey, we're doing a fundraiser, can you financially support us? You ask us for our time, our expertise, our knowledge, things like that, and not critical of other school districts, because other school districts are structured differently, but you guys don't come to us saying, hey, we've got this project we need help funding.
Right.
You come to us saying, we need your knowledge, we need your experience, we need your expertise. And I really respect that.
Well, and thank you. And that's something I think that is unique within when we started, right? We're not going to ask you for equipment, we're not putting our hand out. We want your time and talent, and that is worth money. Because you are away from your job at times, and you're opening your doors. You're possibly able to pay some of our kids and some of the work-based learning or internships, and I appreciate you bringing that up, because that is different, I think, than some programs that come out and say, hey, we need a new machine, how much can you donate? But I think if we added up all the time just between the two of you and your organizations, we would be on the definitely winning side of any other donation that other districts may get. So any kind of future opportunities that you are kind of thinking about, or you've been in our classrooms lately about engaging some of our teachers or students in, Sam?
So 2 years ago, I was elected the president of the Greater Washington Area Historical Society.
Congratulations.
Yeah. So our big fundraising task was to replace the roof. So I've done a lot of fundraisers on that. But I just reached out to Ava here about if the architectural program could help with that as well. We have landscaping needs. Looking at the layout of the building, if some of it can be modified. Organization of it. We even do projects there, like an annual calendar that we sell. If maybe they could help with the photography department.
We do have a photograph.
Like Aaron's already on it. Yeah.
Updating our logo. It's the 50th anniversary of the Historical Society. So, which I thought that would be an area. I got something under the wraps. I can't announce it yet, which is killing me. But it's
going to be exciting.
It's very exciting.
Excellent.
It's enticing an older building in the community that I want to refurbish, and have it in a park that the class is actually designed
Cool.
50 drawings of, and I kind of want to make it a community like.
Gotcha. So part 2 podcast with Sam Pavidi.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you have a lot of ideas.
Yeah, a lot of ideas, short on time.
But you know what? I think working through some ideas, and we have a photographics class now. Actually, Evan and I met with them just yesterday. About imagining and recreating the banners that we originally made for our academies that have the old logo and kids that are now out of college that were in high school. So, I think leveraging the skills of our students and staff is going to be a great thing. Greg, what about you? Any kind of ideas and future kind of thoughts to connect with our teacher and our students?
Yeah, just a little one, right, Emma?
Uh-oh.
So at the high school's obviously at 29 and Jewel. 2 miles south of that at 27 and Jewel, we have a site that is called Clifton Corners.
Okay.
And it's going to have 2 different single-family residential products, and it's going to have ranch-style apartments.
Cool.
We've received our township approvals as far as for the zoning and things like that. We're going through some engineering reviews. We hope to break ground on that later this year. Cool. And I've already talked to Eva. We can engage the business kids. We can engage the architecture, the entrepreneurs, the marketing, all of it, maybe except the medical. We got to figure out some way for that.
No one hurts themselves.
Yeah.
Like, we
First aid.
But we're looking at, and that will be a multi-year engagement.
Awesome.
And being that it's so close to the school, it's not like you're going to be driving half the class period to get to the site.
Right.
So we've just recently talked about it, but I'm really excited to be able to engage the students for that.
That's amazing. And just being able to kind of think outside the box, right? And think, hey, we've got something local, and think about our accounting kids and our entrepreneurship kids and our photograph, just different pathways besides just architecture that could be involved in some of these ideas that you gentlemen bring to the table are just outstanding.
And that's what we appreciate from, partners like you. You think outside the box. You tell us and you help us as teachers know how we can integrate, because sometimes we don't see that. And so that's why we rely on you advisory members and people that live it every day, that how we can tie these other courses into it.
Right.
And integrate it.
And it's so good for kids to see there's different parts of your role and your jobs and your businesses. That's pretty cool. Yeah.
We're excited about it.
Yeah. That's awesome. So we got at least you for a couple more years then as the special project coordinator?
The projects you have for a couple more years.
Okay.
Similar to Sam's surprise announcement. I'm not saying anything else.
So anything else that you want to share about your work with the academies or anything else that you want to let our listening public know about your organization?
Through Mr. Bussenell's class, we've created a youth advisory committee. So we're looking for students, anybody interested, that basically I come into the classroom every few months, and I get to hear the, students' perspective on any concerns they have. And, I've heard anything from like, they need an area to basically hang out. I always think about senior centers. You never think about those 14 to 16-year-olds that have nowhere to go, kind of. They're also interested in basketball courts or walkways or
some recreational things.
Type things, yeah.
Yeah, cool.
So we're exploring that. We've been doing that the last year a little bit, but we're looking for some students to join.
So some other students maybe to join is it like the Washington Township Youth Advisory or not that official?
Yeah, I call it Washington Town, but it's open to anyone in Romeo schools. We've been
okay. All right.
We'd like to incorporate also Mike Philbrook and
from
Megan, the tri community,
the village. Cool.
Together.
Yeah, so it's a try effort.
Yeah.
Cool. So youth advisory students, we're looking for you.
Yeah.
If they're interested, who should they let know?
They can either contact my office or Mr. Bussenell.
Okay. All right. Mr. Pravidi's office or Mr. Bussenell's classroom. I don't know what room number that is, but
we know. Everyone knows.
HHP.
Yeah.
All right. What about you, Greg? Anything else, last words or things you'd want to share?
Just part of my role is to go to high schools and, as I mentioned earlier, engage kids and try to encourage them to look at home building, whether it's a college degree career path or whether it's skilled trades where college is normally not required, things like that. But as part of my presentation, last year, Reese was my intern, did a phenomenal job. She worked with me as well as some students from another high school, and they basically revamped my entire presentation so that it resonates with high school kids, right?
Yeah.
What do I know about connecting with high school kids? And they made suggested changes to my presentation, and it's been very, very well received.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Well, thanks. We'll let Reese know. Very cool. All right, Mrs. Dawson, any last words of thanks or wisdom?
Always thank you. Always thank you. You know, I feel like we say thank you to you all the time, but we really mean it. You always coming to us with these ideas, always willing to go the extra mile, always willing to, you know, make adjustments in your schedule to meet our school needs. It just goes without showing, you know, no doubt you guys are great partners, and we thank that for you.
Oh, thank you.
And we so much appreciate you taking time out of your day to come and join us on this podcast, and especially the 50th, which apparently is a big deal. I don't see balloons, Marianne, but that's okay. Well, thanks for coming today, and enjoy the rest of your week, and hopefully we don't get the snow that's expected.
Yep.
All right. Well, thanks again for helping us mark our 50th episode. Next up, after our winter break, we will welcome back members of our mental health team as our mental health and wellness series continues. Thank you for joining us, and tune in next week to keep up with Romeo Community Schools. This podcast is powered by the MIT TV of Romeo, Michigan. If you're looking to start a podcast for your business or personal use, look no further than MIT TV. Their in-studio podcast experience allows you to record perfect audio and capture amazing video. That's all right here at the MIT TV of Romeo, Michigan. Contact them now via email for a free consultation and schedule a visit at mit.tvpodcast@gmail.com. That's mitt.tvpodcast@gmail.com.